Have you ever wondered that why is it so easy to pick a dessert of your choice, but on the contrary, it is so damn difficult to make a career decision? Why do we sometimes trust our gut only to regret it later? In Thinking Fast and Slow, Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman reveals that how our brain is actually making all these decisions. And today I want to share the biggest lessons I have learned. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shreyashi and I'm a software engineer by profession, and I like to make videos on lifestyle, skincare, travel, food, basically life in general. And in today's video I'm going to be sharing some of the gems that I learned while reading the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Lesson number 1, the two system of the brain. Daniel in his book has talked intensively about the two systems our brain works on. There is system 1 and system 2. System 1 is fast, it's intuitive, it's emotional. For example, recognizing a friend on the way, or driving a car on an empty road, or picking up your keys while leaving home. These are the decisions for which you don't really have to pause and think. You just know that you have to do it. Whereas system 2 is slow, logical and deliberate. Okay, now a number will flash on your screen. Just help me understand, what do you have to do? I'll give you some seconds to think. Well, you know that you have to multiply this number by the multiplication sign, but the number seems bigger. A big number per se is something that cannot be quickly done without a calculator. You will probably need a pen or paper. Unless and until you are that mental math person, you will need a pen or paper or a calculator. That means before going to a solution or before getting an answer, you're thinking. You're taking a pause, you're being logical, you are spending more time on the problem. So as the problems or as the tasks at hand become more complex, your brain switches to system 2. Now most of our lives runs on system 1, that is autopilot. You get up, you do your daily chores, and you don't really need to think about those chores. You need to take a shower, you take a shower. When you're solving complex issues or problems at hand, you do need to think and pause. Lesson number 2, the anchoring bias. Now anchors are sneaky. The first number that you see latches onto your brain, and then every decision you make is dependent on that number that you see, right? You go to a store or you go online and you see that a shirt that was originally priced at 2000 rupees has now been crossed off and it's now being sold at 999. It does feel like a bargain because the original price that you see, the number, was 2000 and it has reduced 1000 rupees. So you say, oh, I got it for 999. What if I had to say that it was actually worth 999? It was never 2000. But you know, because we saw that number first, we are biased towards that number. That no, we did get it at a good price. When you fall into situations like an anchoring bias, the trick is to pause and think. Think about that shirt. Is it even worth 2000 rupees, or it was always worth 999? So whenever you fall in that trap, which the companies do really well, brands do really well at products, you really need to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Lesson number 3, the planning fallacy. For an example, I usually say I'll edit this video in say 3 hours, or I will finish this code in 2 hours. Cut to the whole day, finished, ended, and I'm still working on it. What it really shows is that we are terrible at estimating time. The planning fallacy makes us extremely optimistic. Projects, exams, goals, they all take longer than we expected them to take. My fix, if I think that something will take 2 hours, I always say it'll take 4 hours. I give that buffer to myself because it's never enough. What you're thinking is never enough time. And this buffers saves me every time. A lot of you who work in the IT sector, you must have heard of sprint planning and estimation of tasks and story pointing. All of this does come into play when you're estimating a task. When you're giving some points or some story points saying that this probably can be done in 3 man days or 2 man days or maybe a day. But a majority of time our estimations are so off, are so wrong, even though we do it again and again every 2 weeks. Hence, it's good to give a little buffer time for all your tasks rather than just underestimating and saying, oh, it can be done in one day. Lesson number 4, the loss aversion. Imagine losing 500 rupees from your wallet, and on the other hand, finding 500 rupee note somewhere lying on the road. Well, a wise man once said, the pain of losing is twice as strong as the joy of gaining. That's why investors hold on to the bad stocks, why we cling to our old jobs, old relationships, even though we know that we are not getting anything out of this. We still hold on to it because that's somewhere our comfort zone, and we don't want to feel the pain of losing something or letting go of something, because letting go feels like a loss, even though that is something good for you in the longer run. But real growth happens when we accept the fact that letting go or releasing something is much more wiser than holding on to it. Lesson number 5, the framing effect. Imagine the situation, 2 different doctors. One doctor says the survival rate is 90%. Another doctor says the death rate is 10%. Both mean the same thing, right? 90% survival rate, 10% death rate. But the emotions in both of them change significantly. The way information is framed, it completely changes our choices, even though the facts remain exactly the same. 90% survival rate sounds safe. You feel that, okay, I'll be able to survive this because there's 90% survival rate. 10% death rate feels very negative. You feel that, what if I'm in that 10%? What if I die? It sounds extremely terrifying. Same truth, different frames. Different ways of presenting something to you to make a choice. So what I have started to do is I try to flip it. If it's something that's giving me a very negative connotation, I just flip it and see what if this could have been framed the other way. Lesson number 6, the overconfidence bias. A question will flash to you on the screen. Any guesses? Well, when I saw the question, I was like just shrugging my shoulders, and then I was confident enough that probably I know around the numbers around it, but I didn't know the right answer. Well, the right answer is this as of the current scenario. But what this lesson teaches you is that we love feeling confident, but we are not as accurate as we think. Kahneman proved that even stock experts do know better than chance. Overconfidence tricks us into underestimating uncertainty. The lesson? Confidence feels good, but accuracy matters more. So just stay humble and double check. As Tom Cruise has very wisely said, don't be careful, be competent. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Be prepared, be aware of the facts and the accuracy. And don't be overconfident. Well, this book, it just didn't give me knowledge. It gave me awareness. I still make mistakes. I still make wrong decisions. I still trust my gut. But now I pause and I slow down before making certain decisions. I'm more aware of my decision making. I do tend to think that, is it my gut or my intuition driving it, or is it logical? This fast can be useful, but slow can be wise. I would highly recommend all of you to read this book. It's an amazing read. Drop a comment below and let me know what is one bias that you've seen in yourself as well. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please like, share and subscribe, and I will be back with another video very, very soon. Until then, bye-bye.